welcome along to another episode of the Where's My KitBag podcast, hosted by the three lovely media technicians of the Sixth Form College Farmer, with myself, James.
Me, Will.
And I'm Steve.
How are we all? We're back after
Yay.
reading week / half term / whatever on earth we call it these days. How are we all?
Very
Doing
good.
well.
Very good.
Did we do much with our weeks off?
I was in for a bit. We did some F6 filming. It was great.
Nice.
I was with Connor, Addison, and Aisha, and we went out to Hydrolife in the garden centre, Long Acres. It was pretty good. We did some bit of recce, bit of filming, and we're currently working on a video for them now.
Ooh. Nice. Steve, what about you?
I worked because I have other jobs than being a technician, sadly. And then cut the sound bit. I've actually watched loads of stuff.
Yay!
Whoa.
That deserves some crowd applause.
Hey. I've watched a series. I've watched a few films. I've watched a bit of this, that, and the other. It's been quite nice. Yeah.
Nice.
Which I'm sure we'll get onto a bit later.
Oh,
Yeah.
what have we been
I
watching?
enjoyed some time off. And played a lot of video games,
Nice.
which I am going to enjoy.
Sweet. Well,
What about you?
me, I was here, there, and everywhere. I barely stopped. It was
Oh, no.
ridiculous. I know.
You graduated.
I did.
Hey. Oh, no
Maybe I
soundbite.
should have my own crowd applause for this. There you
Oh.
go.
Oh, God.
I had to get up at 5 in the morning to get into Greenwich.
How was
Do not
the
recommend.
How was the James Bale and all the applause? The 5 seconds of your moment. How was it?
Well, but before they read my name out, obviously they were reading out several different teaching qualification degrees, and they all sounded like we were getting doctorates because they were so long. Like they go, yes, you're getting the level this formal education teaching long life service. James Bell. I was just like, God, how many words has this poor person had to say? Like, before me, whoever was announcing the names did an absolutely stellar job, because there was a person whose name was, because you get like the graduation book that has all the people's names in it. And the person's name before mine was like 8 times the length of my name.
Bloody hell.
I'm like, James Bale, hello. And there's just like, bleh.
They must practice those for weeks.
10 seconds later, the name was finished. I was like, oh my days. I think they could have been Spanish because there were a lot of Del Santos in there. So there were lots of surnames within their name. Yes, basically like that.
Sweet life.
It was more like I'm applauding
Shout
the
out.
person saying the names,
Nice.
not myself. But no, I mean the ceremony was nice and quick. It was over and done within under an hour. But the slight beef here. Reception tent, poor quality, poor reception
Can't be having
tent.
that at a graduation.
No.
Poor reception tent.
No, there was
Absolutely not.
basically
What a
right.
joke.
So, right. So the choice was
Just give him your degree back.
yeah. The choice
To be
was
honest.
wine or water. There was nothing in between.
No bread?
Nice, I like it. No, there was no food. It was just wine or water. And I was like, well, I drove to the train station, so I'm stuck with water, and I don't like wine anyway.
Oh, damn.
So it's like a little bit of variety, like maybe like appetizer, get a bit fancy.
TripAdvisor?
TripAdvisor, I mean,
Negative
1
review?
star, 1 star review.
Ouch.
Greenwich reception tent, 1 star.
Damn.
I
I don't think I had anything at my graduation.
I didn't graduate. Mostly because I didn't go to uni.
I thought I was going to turn his lights on. Oh God, sad trombone, sad trombone. But no, I mean the ceremony and the day itself was nice. But the reception tent was poor.
Damn.
We
my
played some
standards.
squash, didn't we?
We did play some
That was
squash.
fun.
That was
Great
good
segue.
fun. I
Yeah.
felt very fat. I need to play more squash. I think that's
we'll
my
book
summary.
it
We will book it in.
Words to live by is back to the tea, Steve. Back to the tea.
Yeah.
For those Move it, Steve! For people that don't know the squash term, look it up.
It is. Yeah. Steve needs to live on the tee,
Yeah.
not
No,
the
it's good.
edges.
I had a good time.
Yeah, it was good fun. But yeah, what else have I done? I've basically been here, there, and everywhere, seeing my loads of mates. It was more like drive 2 hours that way, drive an hour that way, drive 3 hours that way.
All the fuel.
Yeah.
Well-
I've got to fill up after this, actually.
Well,
That
shall we
reminds me.
crack on to the pod?
Yes, Steve. Have you got some department news for me?
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Will drops his headphones in excitement at Steve Kell's news.
Breaking news.
I broke the headphones.
Media and film department. Open evening, a great success. There were
Love it.
prospective students were raving up and down the department as all rooms were raving with prospective students. I'm not very good at this.
Keep going, Steve. This is great.
Each room was electric. Everyone did very well. Loads of students to thank. Actually, current students to thank for coming along and helping out and making the evenings what they were. Popcorn was everywhere.
I just love the name. What they were.
He's on a roll. Keep going.
Keep going, Steve. Come on.
Rumours got around the whole of the campus that there was the smell of popcorn from the department, which added the footfall up in media and film. Rumours were actually proved to be correct, and there was popcorn a-poppin' up in media and film. Yeah, to kind of summarise, it was actually really good.
Yeah.
Had a good 2 days.
That was quite intense. I was feeling the sweat.
I know what Steve means.
I'm getting better at it.
Yeah. I'm loving the newsreader
I
voice.
feel like
I think that's the best
how
part.
you started it was great, but we need like the headlines of the news you're going to cover.
You know what? What I'm going to do?
Do I need to make more jingles for each
no,
headline?
No.
Starting next week, mark my words, I'll be in full character. I'll do a full segment as if I'm a news anchor. I'm holding my hands out as if I've got like a script.
Dude,
okay?
if we don't hear the paper hitting the table, I won't be happy.
I'll nail it. I'll write a script out. Nice. I'll write a script out and I'll read it like a news anchor and see if I'm
definitely up for that.
Pencil it in. But no, it was actually really good. Jokes aside, it seemed to get a lot of people going to and from each room. Everyone seemed really interested, and as always, the department seems to kind of smash it, which is nice. And I heard from around the campus it was actually a relatively good one. Bit of bad weather on the Thursday, but it didn't deter anybody from coming in.
No.
And all in all, it was actually a really good one. I've only my second open evening, and I think it topped the last one. It was really good. I feel really bad because I cannot for the life of me remember her name. We had in the studio, so my job was to kind of just be in the studio, just kind of showing people what the equipment is and what the spaces that students can use for their coursework, etc. And there was a first year student. She's going to get a little plug on the newsletter next week anyway. So if you are interested, she's a first year. She did some VFX makeup for both days the entire time. So shout out to her.
Awesome.
A lot of people were actually like, well, why is she doing it? What is it offering? And basically, the reason that she volunteered to do it was she was basically showing that there are students who study up here in the department that want to get into a niche within our industry, and we very much kind of support that. However, didn't really feel like I was supporting at all because she's leagues above anything I've ever seen. It's amazing. It was absolutely incredible. So she's going to get a little shout out on the newsletter because she was quality. But that was obviously my kind of highlight. I don't know if you guys had any standout moments besides seeing all your faces in the IT suite multiple times. You played a game, I believe, at the front of the department.
Technician bingo.
Yeah, what's this?
Oh yeah, so you had the great idea of the IT suite was kind of sitting there a bit dark and dingy, so we went around, logged into all the computers and got some TechNet videos playing, and we also had the newsletters dispersed between these as well. And obviously we put our YouTube playlist on, which contains our faces quite frequently.
Oh, yes. Sadly.
So from the outside the IT suite, you had to put your Hawkeyes on. You had to spot the same technician 3 times across different monitors, full screen. Had to be full screen because a lot of videos were kind of in the corner, we're kind of helping you along. I'm talking about prime time. So Dan got involved, Rob got involved. It's just people walking by, they're like, "Oh, 1, 2." It was a very much run and gun game, but
Nice.
it helped the night along a little bit.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to kind of ramble on about the department news because obviously we've been away, but I guess the core department news is shout out to people that helped out an open evening. It was a great success. Film guys are now cracking on with their coursework this semester, here, that, and the other. Check out the current newsletter that's out this week to any of the second-year film students who want to kind of look into anything coursework-based, whether you're script writing, you're currently filming, or you're ready for the editing process. There's 3 videos on each of those kind of little segments, so check them out. Besides that, it's just business as usual. Expect everything that's kind of going to be coming along. I'm not going to talk too much about it now because next pod is going to kind of be where I can kind of announce it, but there's going to be more news on Film Club. I'm going to leave that as is, but yeah, more news on Film Club coming up. There will be screenings this term. That much I can kind of confirm.
Ooh.
Hopefully, we should have a couple more of the Prem professional videos coming out ASAP as well.
Yeah, I think that because obviously a lot of the second year film students are currently filming. We have a bit of time to churn out a few of those, so I think I might get involved in that as well, and see if we can basically get a bit of a playlist out prior to them editing, essentially. So yeah, that'd be good. That's pretty much it for department news. I know we've got a lot to talk about in other areas, so I'll keep it relatively short and sweet. But all is good up in media and film, and everyone's very proud of each other, which is really, really good. Pat on the back for everyone.
One thing I'll add is obviously the creative Kickstarter.
Of course. How could I have forgotten?
The big event occurring between all the creative subjects, so not just us. They've also got people from photography, graphics, textiles, all sorts coming in as well. Make sure to check your emails. There'll be emails from Dan or Rach or Nick or whoever, maybe Jane, us, whoever. We've sent out 1 billion. You can't miss it.
Go and look on the doors of the department.
Yes, there's many a poster designed by one of our reps, if I remember rightly.
Sam?
Or James, one or the other.
One or two.
Can't remember. Whoever it was. Thank you. So yeah, the creative Kickstarter. There we go. So we've got loads of industry professionals coming in to talk to you guys. To obviously give you a little bit of a head start in the industry, find out a little bit more about areas you might not have known before. I'm hosting a session. Yay, come along to that. It'll be fun, I guess.
You are an industry professional.
I mean, I'm not hosting. I'm hosting someone better than me.
Oh.
Rip. I'll be interviewing James Hastings, who was an ex-student who actually made a feature film whilst he was here. He's currently, I think he's just finished university, just graduated, might be his final year. Or final year.
Can't remember.
And he's funding some big projects. He's working with some pretty exciting people. So if you want to come along and ask some questions about what it's like and how do you get involved into the British industry, that'd be a good one to come along to.
But yes, check your emails. There's obviously limited seats, so book early to avoid disappointment. Obviously, make sure to not book a session when you have a lesson. That's a bad idea. Unless your media teacher may have said that's fine. But yeah, double check. Don't miss your business lesson to go along to this. Try and book them in your freeze.
Nice.
Sorted. There you go.
Cool.
Plug. Done. Will.
Let's do it.
I didn't even need to say any words. You just knew what I was going to talk about, didn't you?
Let's do it. Hello and welcome along to Tech News for this week. Obviously, a few bits and bobs have been happening whilst we've been away. The first one we've touched on before. I think we've had a little chat about it. But however, a lot of it's coming to fruition now. A lot of it's about to kick in just before the end of the year. And it's subscription services. So mainly TV streaming. I mean, I think all of us here have a Netflix subscription, our own one, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
I do.
That's one. Amazon Prime?
Yep.
Yeah, I use my parents.
Using one. Okay,
Yeah.
there's one in the
You have
household.
access to
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Now TV. Anybody on that one?
Not since Game of Thrones.
I've got it for the sport and only the sport.
Okay, but you got some.
I have some form of it.
Some of your hard-earned money in there somewhere.
For Formula One, yes.
There you go. Right. I mean, so they're kind of three of the main ones they've kind of solidified their place in the market at the moment. However, obviously, the more closer and closer we get to these shows coming up, Disney Plus we've got coming up. Apple TV just relaunched their new TV show, which has been critically slammed, which obviously won't help it if your flagship show's kind of the one taking the brunt of the flack. However, I mean, when do we get to the point where it's just missing out, isn't it? It's no longer like you know, some people still do pay for a TV package. I know, James, you don't now, do you? Cause it's,
no, I outright refuse.
Yeah.
It's just too much money.
Yeah, and a lot, we're moving away from the things where shows that are only available on TVs, they're just going to get, their figures are just going to get lower and lower, I presume, and it's all going to be moving over to this online streaming service. I know BBC iPlayer is a thing, that's a free service, and you've got ITV Player. However, all the ones bar BBC are filled with ads, aren't they? And
Yes.
and when you compare that to an experience which is ad free, which you are paying for, obviously, it makes such a difference for me anyway. Like, I don't want to get 15 minutes into a show and then an ad pop up. It's
Amazon are quite bad for that though.
Yeah, well, they promote their own stuff as well,
It's
don't
still
they?
annoying. Like when you try and load the application, you get ads when a new episode, 2 or 3 trailers, and you're like, this is annoying.
Yeah.
It's almost as if that should be like a free service.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
yeah, that's the only anomaly. It's kind of annoying.
The ITV online player, I think you can pay for an ad-free version.
That's cool.
Which is like $3.99 or something. So it's quite a cheap price.
Yeah.
But of course, it's then another cost.
Yeah. So, it's things to consider. I think Disney Plus I probably will get for The Mandalorian, because that does look amazing, and anybody in the Star Wars franchise or interested in Star Wars probably be quite interested in that. When I was younger on the PS2, I used to play this Bounty Hunter game, Star Wars Bounty Hunter, and that was incredible. So I have got a bit of a soft spot for it, but just kind of like, I don't know, there's a lot of people who kind of itching to see a bit more of that universe or see as much of it as they can. And the fact they're opening it up now and I think there's an Obi-Wan series coming to it as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
and they're putting things like Avatar is on there, which apparently hasn't got many rights to any other streaming site. So all sorts of exclusives on there. Apple TV, I'm personally not too fussed about. I haven't really heard any big shows that have been landed on there. But if you just think about it, like, soon in another 2 years' time with all these exclusives and stuff, we're going to be paying £150 a month subscriptions. If you got like Spotify, Disney, Now TV, Netflix.
Could that then force
Amazon
people back to TV packages because they will be cheaper?
Well, not if the content's good though. That's
True.
the issue, isn't it?
Yeah,
you
that
can't
is the
deny
issue.
the stuff you see on Netflix and Amazon's
No.
amazing. It's taken a while for them to slowly build the funds up to the point where they can contest stuff like that. But
it's almost come to a point now where we've almost gone back to a sort of like paid for TV system, but instead of it being like terrestrial, it's now all internet based.
I think
essentially
exactly, and it's causing maybe TV shows, and I think the writers, the production values are then having to be pushed up to try and retain numbers. I watch quite a lot of the BBC dramas, quite often like the sort of investigation ones and the police ones, and you've noticed trending over the years, the production values just keep going higher and higher. The narratives are normally a lot stronger as well, just because Netflix and stuff, they're open to the world, aren't they? They can take content from anywhere. So it's interesting one to talk about. We'll quickly shoot through the others. So I got the DJI Mavic Mini. This is crazy, 249 grams. I think the Fly More combo.
I was going to say £249 then.
Well, I think
it's not much more.
No, it's not much more. I think it's was it $350 for the body or
what? That's well cheap.
$375 for the body, $459 for like the combo pack.
Yeah, the combo pack comes with a case, 3 batteries.
Nice.
It's got a 30-minute fly time. It shoots in 2.7K, I think it is.
That's it.
Still not bad.
We saw some comparisons on YouTube. I mean, it looked awesome. It's so cool.
That's a fairly affordable drone.
It is. However, reading on the news, I think drone laws are pretty savage in the UK.
Yes, they are.
Over in America, the whole reason it's 249 grams is that means you don't have to register the drone. With their version of the CAA, they have the FAA.
Yes.
Over there, so technically you can get away with quite a lot of stuff with this drone. However, here, if you don't register any form of drone, if it's found outside, or you found you using it, you can be fined up to £1,000.
It's interesting as well because obviously it falls under that kind of regimen of people like, well, I even if I'm just using it as a hobbyist use, we looked into it as well. Even if you're shooting, even if a friend asks you to, do a drone shot of their car, you're providing a service, which means it's actually used commercially. Which we were a bit like, really? And it even states almost in bold writing, it like start out, even if no money is exchanged. If you're providing a service, you need a CAA license.
Yeah,
it's like that strict.
So on that, a CAA license is another £1,000. So you have to take a 3-day training course, which then allows you to shoot commercially with your drone.
You essentially learn the laws of aviation.
Yeah,
in that course
flight
for
safety,
those
3 days,
flight routes, all that sort of stuff.
Do not fly into planes.
And there's exams. There's an online, online exam
I'm never
a
buying
written
a
exam.
drone.
So
I'm pretty sure there's a assessment as well of your
and a flight assessment.
That's just
I'm sorry, you can't fly very well.
Loop to loop.
But even then, the UK laws are really strict. So I think the Mavic Mini has I think it's a 2.5 mile radius, but in the UK you can only be 500 meters away from your drone at any one time.
And it has to be in line of sight at all times.
So it's kind of like all the amazing stuff it can do, you can't even push its boundaries, even with the highest license. That's crazy.
Yeah, so before you start adding it to your Christmas list, please read into the drones and stuff. If you've got one already that you might have bought when the kind of big phase went through, Just again, the laws are literally changing every month. And if you get caught out, there are some pretty hefty penalties to pay.
Especially in our area with the airport so close, they're even more like taking no sort of prisoners. It's pretty intense. It's the thing that's kept me away from that world, and it's quite rightly so at the end of the day. You know, with the whole Heathrow issues. It's a shame. It's a shame because it's what an amazing ability to get.
Takes
a couple of people to ruin it for everyone, unfortunately. But that is the way it is.
Like a shot you can do now on a drone for £400, which before you would have to rent a helicopter and you know all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. But hopefully at some point they might even out and it gets to a point where it's comfortable to use again. But right now I think they want to tackle it now so it doesn't get too much of a problem. And then maybe it might ease up in the future. Bell, you put a quick one down on here. I've seen a little bit about it. The LG G8X. So
it's a folding phone, but not a folding phone.
Yeah, so you can buy the phone individually. But you can also get this additional thing which turns it into a folding phone, quote unquote. It's essentially they've taken this, like, imagine slicing the phone in half and you've got the screen panel,
and then up on the screen. Sorry.
Yes. Imagine you've got your phone. You split the screen, like you've taken the screen panel off, and you've just attached it like a 3DS on the other side.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, the actual phone has a little notch in it. But they've also added a notch to the second display, even though
it doesn't
have anything in the notch. There's no camera in the notch. There's just blank. So it's like a double notched phone. It's a bit weird.
That is odd.
However,
it also acts as like a protective case for it though.
Yeah.
At the same time.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Because they made something similar. However, people complain that the color temperatures of the two displays were weird. If you've got an internet page spread across both, and one's kind of orange and one's sort of blue, that would annoy me, to be fair. So I get why they've copied the screen, but to copy the notch and everything as well is quite...
I mean, I do like how the hinge can fold like back on itself, so you can almost make it like a tent stand.
Oh, like tent mode,
yeah, so you can stand up your phone.
Interesting. We'll see where folding phones are going. We'll keep you up posted. Have a little look at that. I don't think it's one to pick up, and it's probably quite expensive, but it's people making stuff. It only, like we always say, it always benefits the consumer.
Someone is going to like it.
Yes. AirPods Pro. These are quite interesting. I'm sure most people have kind of heard about them. There's some videos going around. I saw this, like, it was like a Snapchat someone had took, and it was like, I hate my mum. She got me the old AirPods, and you think not the pros, and you're like, I really hope this generation is, like, the standard of living now, or what people are trying to aspire to, is crazy. I personally, to spend £250 on a pair of headphones, which is what these retail at, is a bit bonkers for me. However, even the other AirPods are like 200, but they are everywhere at the moment. So I feel like there's probably quite a lot of pressure on parents to, in terms of like clothing brands and technology, to kind of keep up there, because they're not essential. There's, in terms of what they do compared to plug-in headphones, not much different, or other wireless headphones. But obviously Apple with their branding is kind of what they excel at. However, something really interesting that if you own a pair, you might not know. All these wireless AirPods and most other wireless headphones, those little ones, they have about a 2 to 3 year shelf life of use life. So after that time, because the battery's being charged and depleted so quickly, eventually it will die.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you're buying these, you have to know it's an investment that you're going to be happy with, knowing over that period of time, at some point they will go. Apple have kind of spoken about it, saying that they try and recycle as much as they can out of the headphones, but there are, we don't really know because the first cycle hasn't gone through yet. But in about a year and a half time, we're going to see a lot of the older AirPods suddenly start going off, and we might see that out on the news a bit. So if you didn't know, but that applies to most Bluetooth headphones, the ones that you have to charge quite frequently. Canon announced a new camera today. It's I think the first full frame camera targeted specifically for astrophotography.
Ooh.
I think it has a fairly similar price point to the normal Canon EOS R, which is what it's based on. It's called the EOS RA. It's currently
the A for Astro.
Yeah, presumably. They haven't changed much at all. The bodies are the same image sensor. They've just changed a filter on the front, which makes it pulls in more infrared. So when you're taking a picture of the sky, more red appears. Basically, apparently that helps take better pictures. And Leica has also just announced another camera, the SL2, which is another mirrorless camera. Have a little look at it. And like all Leica models, they are expensive. I believe this one's going for $5,500 just for the body.
What?
Apparently they improved some video specs on it. But is it worth that much money? I'm pretty sure you could get something better. So I'd avoid that. Don't put that one on your Christmas list.
No.
Either.
Oh God, are we talking about Christmas lists already?
Well, maybe,
Ooh.
there's things that you might be eyeing up, asking Mr. Santa Claus to, or Mrs. I don't know which one's doing it at the moment, but
Claus.
Yeah, Claus.
Collective.
But you never know. All right, and that sums up my tech for the week.
Do you think
Yes.
at some point in the next couple of pods we should do a like Christmas wish list of things we think you should buy that aren't super duper expensive? Could be quite fun.
Well, we could put that into some sort of form.
Tech gifts under 50.
Ooh,
Yeah, something
tech
like that.
gifts under 50. If you're a parent listening, maybe. Hi, hi niche
Hello.
audience. Hi non-core demographic. Yeah, maybe something your son/daughter may want to get.
We should do it like rapid fire, like the Nifty 50 video.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
Like just shoot
it's a
them
deal.
off.
It's a steal.
And we'll just link them all in the description, but we'll just yell
Yeah.
them out.
SD card case.
That's what I want.
32 gig SD cards.
Five for a little plastic wallet. That's what I
Nice.
want.
Stocking fillers.
Yep.
Big presents. We'll do it. Let's do it.
Some stupidly overly LED coloured thing.
That'll be our Christmas
that doesn't
special.
need. Ooh.
Or is that
Maybe
too
we
late?
should do it the 1st of December. Like call it the Advent special.
Sorted.
Or
Nice.
whenever in December our
Alright,
first
good
pod is.
stuff.
We will do it then.
How about then if we do it on the
Hello.
1st of December and we
Or near
do
enough.
25 items leading up to Christmas?
Well, that's just
On
done
the
it, isn't
first
it?
day of
Ah.
Christmas, my
Technician gave to me.
Nice. I mean, we'd have to do it. We'd record
We
it
need
on
to
Wednesday
make this
the
into a
4th.
jingle.
We'd record it onto Wednesday the 4th is
Oh,
what day we'd
God.
record it. First week of Crimbo. And then we'll announce the 25 items you should buy one a day for Christmas.
Oh, I love it. All right.
A TechNet branded hoodie.
Nice.
Got
I was
it.
thinking a
Still got-
tripod and a something. I couldn't think of something ending in E.
Tripod and a Nifty 50.
Nice. He's got
Yes.
it.
Man, lyrics. That's my thing. Talking of lyrics, hilarious segue. Let's hear a bit of Tune of the Week. Gotta always hit that cymbal crash.
Mm.
Feel like me. Bam. So my I'd honestly probably say my favorite band of all time ever decided to be like, hey, let's release a double album. Hey, let's release loads of songs. Hey, content. It's Coldplay. Yes. I'm very hype train right now. They've released 3 songs in a matter of like about 4 days. So you got Arabesque and Orphans, which are released on the same day at the same time, and they have released the kind of track, the title track you'd call it, called Everyday Life, and they all sound great, but I'm very biased because I love Coldplay. Yes, there's my answer.
Boom.
Just yes. 10 out of 10 would listen again.
You will listen to this.
Basically, their album's coming out. I think it's on the 22nd of November. I'm actually going to check the calendar. Yes, no, Friday the 22nd of November. So the almost under 2 week hype train cometh. I'm very excited. They haven't released anything for some years, and yes, there you go.
Nice.
That's my
Thank
answer.
you.
I do recommend. They're if you like Coldplay.
Which one's track of the week?
See, this was my difficult choice.
Because
See,
you haven't actually said one
You
yet.
have one written down.
I have one written down. So Everyday Life is, I would kind of describe as more classic Coldplay, a bit more kind of Yellow era, a bit more kind of Trouble-esque. Arabesque is something really new and different, which kind of, it's basically got like a 3-minute big band solo and it with saxophones. It's frigging great. But it's very un-Coldplay, but also very Coldplay at the same time. But the one I picked as track of the week is the one called Orphans, which is, I think, the most like their last album, A Head Full of Dreams, and it's very reminiscent of that kind of style of very upbeat, very poppy. Although everyone's kind of re-encoding the lyrics as, oh my god, the lyrics are so dark, but the song is so happy. Oh. And everyone's kind of like being all sad, but also happy at the same time. I just think the song's great. So, yes. Orphans is the track I've picked as track of the week, but do check out all the rest of the songs or pop in the edit suite. They're most likely playing in my headphones or out the speakers. You can't avoid it. It's always there. But yeah, Coldplay, Orphans, track of the week. Boom, done. Yes.
Thank you.
Listen to it. Listen to it a lot.
Nice.
100 plays in like 2 days. No jokes.
Wow.
I'm not that obsessed. Or am I? I don't even know. But yes,
The
they're really
the song
good.
dies for me like that. Like, there are some bangers that I would play on repeat, but not after.
You mean like
after
Flawless by George Michael?
a few times over, and then it's I
no.
can't afford the song to die, so I got to mix it up a little bit, and then when it comes on, I'm like, yeah,
Banger!
Can't do that at the moment. I've not added any music to my Spotify for all of the half term, any at all. And that Haywire artist, I can't stop listening to. It hasn't
good.
It hasn't gone dry yet. So I'm just enjoying it. I've overplayed these 2 songs. I've overplayed both of them too much. I'm not gonna say them. Because Coldplay Orphans is the track of the week. But I know what you mean. A song eventually does die out and you go, nah, I'm not feeling it anymore. But these 2 songs, just stick them on. Don't want to listen to anything else.
Boom. Talking of playlists, you can find the Where's My KitBag playlist on Spotify, which will have Orphans added to it at some point in the next 2 days. So check it out. Go hunt it down. They're all good. And all the previous track of the week songs are also on there. So it's getting a pretty hefty playlist now. I'm quite happy with it. Anywho, how about we discuss what have we been watching over the old half term? Who would like to start us off this week?
Oh,
what
it's
have we
me.
been watching?
Apparently, I'm up first.
Will,
Cool.
what have you been watching?
Well, 2 of the things on our list we've actually all seen, which would be quite nice.
Yes.
So I'll mention one of them, and then I'll let someone else talk about the other. First thing I want to talk about is El Camino, which is the movie for Breaking Bad. And I didn't know it was needed until I watched it, and it gave me so much. It was like, Steve showed me this thing earlier on YouTube where this guy had a box and he showed this other dude what was in the box, and they kind of reacted to it, but then they never showed the audience.
Yeah, I hate it.
And it was like, this film was then seeing what was in the box. Or like in Pulp Fiction, you get to see in the briefcase. That's what it felt like. And for me, Vince Gilligan, what an absolute amazing director. The cinematography throughout Breaking Bad is incredible. And the standards upheld massively through this. I recently watched, they've just put a behind the scenes thing on Netflix as well for it. And the detail of the shots and things, some shots you see, it's like that's special effects, isn't it? When you see the behind the scenes, it's phenomenal. It's awesome. It's like Christopher Nolan sort of stuff. It's quite cool. And I loved it. Seeing Jesse Pinkman back. I won't say any more. I don't want to mention anything. But if you've seen Breaking Bad, you have to watch this. It adds that extra zest on the ending. It explains a little bit, and it goes back and forth through some time periods, and it's a ending I'm very happy with. Yeah, so I give it a 10. I can't fault it.
Wow.
But I'm a bit biased because I love Breaking Bad. So.
High praise.
Yes. New Blood's a BBC drama on Netflix. I've been really enjoying that. It's about this one person who works in London for a fraud team, and then another person who's a police officer that's trying to make it as a detective, but every chance he's had so far has kind of resulted in a big fireball. But he's given the shot. He arrives at a crime scene as a police officer and makes a few deductions, and then people pick up on that and like, okay, we'll give you another shot. And then throughout their lives, they keep crossing paths here and there. They keep coming across the same sort of people and interacting with the same. For some reason, they keep interacting with the same client, the same people they're investigating. Their relationship grows and grows, and the storyline's been really good. It's been really fascinating. But most BBC dramas are written pretty well. It's quite an easy watch. I haven't finished it yet, so I'll give it a score once I'm done. And the last one I'll talk about that we've all seen is Zombieland 2, which I really enjoyed. It was a good sequel. Like I said, I don't know if it was a needed sequel, but it was fun. It kept to the same recipe, I think, was kind of a way of looking at it. There's a lot of gags in it. Most of them hit. There's a few that kind of didn't, I felt, but we all came out the cinema quoting bits from the film, which is normally a pretty good sign. What were you guys? Yeah. I didn't know. Was it the mix? The nuts mix. You remember?
Oh,
what was it?
I didn't know Trail Mix had
Trail
nuts in
Mix.
it.
That was it. Yeah.
I was having an
Oh,
anaphylactic
dear,
shock.
there's all sorts in there.
Oh,
all
God.
sorts. Yeah. What were your guys' opinions on it?
I was satisfied. I enjoyed the little jokes they had in there. The rules of atonement or whatever it was
Oh
called.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Commandments.
The commandments.
Yeah.
That was it. That was really funny. No, I was satisfied. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. It wasn't needed, but at the same time, it used the original formula, spat out another narrative that actually did all right. If you're going in there looking for something new, you'll be disappointed. But if you enjoyed the original Zombieland formula, I think you'll come out fairly satisfied, to be honest with you. And I think that's what they were looking to do. I don't think it's doing as well as it wanted to, but calling back, even in the first line of the film, it actually welcomes you back, which is like, oh, you're still here after all this time? Welcome back. And it's like, oh, that was actually really, really good. Yeah, same formula, worked for me. I was satisfied. Didn't do anything crazy. I was happy.
Nice. I mean, I love the original Zombieland. The Zombieland 1, loved it to bits because I love a good zombie film. So I'm already inherently biased. It's a film that if you liked Zombieland 1, you'll like Zombieland 2 because, like you've all said, it's the exact same recipe, same characters. They've added a couple of new ones in just to kind of freshen it up a little bit. Slightly alternative storyline to the first one, basically. But yeah, I mean, for me, I'd give it a 7 overall. But I think my overall gripe for me was the opening sequence. I felt really off CGI wise. It felt really
I said that
weird.
when it came out.
Yeah,
Just it looked so cheap.
Compared to how good
the rest of it was
first one,
fine.
Yeah, compared to how good Zombieland 1's opening sequence was, with obviously all the zombies crashing through all the names and everything. They tried to emulate it, but it kind of swung and missed.
Just touching people's shoulders randomly, wasn't it? It was like, with all the names, it was a bit weird.
Very bit weird. But overall, I came out with a smile on my face.
Yeah, I gave it a 6 in the end. It was a good watch.
Yeah,
it was fun, enjoyable.
Fun. It was a good night out for us.
And I'll pass my other one on to Steve Gale.
Steve Gale.
Oh, I've got 3 to throw at you.
Oh,
I'll start with the series, mainly because I can't really talk all that much about it. I watched The Boys on Amazon. Finally got around to that. Yeah, really good. I'm happy. I guess the only thing I can really say about it is the way it ends. If it had ended with nothing, with another season not on the horizons, I'd have been a bit like, oh. But knowing there's a second season, I'm hyped. I'm ready. I'm looking forward to it.
I really like the concept.
Yeah, the concept's
and they
really
pull it
good.
off, don't they?
Yeah, I think it's very. I would say pop culture in regards to like the storyline of what the company are. I don't think that's a spoiler at all of the power a company can have, which is really really impressive. I think Butcher as a character is just awesome. I think he's such a cool character, and how he just nails the thrown into an insane situation, and whoever the actor is, and sadly I don't know his name, just nails it. I think he's just awesome.
I don't know if you had the same issue, but I thought he was Australian for the first 4 episodes.
Wait, Butcher?
Yeah.
South African, isn't he?
No, he's English.
He is not English.
He's English.
That's not English. I thought that was the joke. When people go, he's just some English man, I thought it was because he was 100% South African.
No,
accent.
I've googled it.
He's supposed to be English.
He's played by Carl Urban, who is in fact a New Zealander.
Yeah, but his character is English. So
I thought he was South African.
He's meant to be doing an English accent
That's
in
not
there.
English.
Yeah.
Oh, that changes things.
Yeah.
Because I thought, as I said, I thought the joke was they were mistaking a South African accent for an English one. No. That's hilarious.
I'm almost. We googled it because we were like, I was like, why are they making all these English references? Because we thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing on the IMDb or something that he's meant to be playing an English character.
Yeah, I mean, he does sound Australian a little bit.
Yeah.
I got South Africa, Johannesburg vibes.
Oh, South Africa, hello.
Yeah. But like that had been in the States for a while, so it only occasionally crept back in.
Like an Americanized.
I could be wrong, but I very remembered googling
Either way,
this and being like, what?
Oh,
I'm gonna Google it real quick.
I'm not a fan of I don't think profanity is needed in storytelling, but just to aid him as a character, it was used it was used aggressively but rarely, and it really cracked me up because it just caught me off guard, and I found that comedy actually really good. I'll move on because I think the best thing that I can only encourage is just to check it out. It's actually really good. It's very, would you say it was original? It's based on a comic anyway, isn't it?
Yes, I think so.
I believe it is, because I believe the second season, I read into it a little bit, the second season is off comic now, I believe. Or the ending is off comic. Anyway.
No, you're right. It is a comic.
Anyway, the next thing I watch, a lot of people would have already seen, is I finally got around to watching Sweeney Todd.
That's taken you a while.
Has taken me a while. We were looking for something different to watch, and that came up, and Jade was like, I've never actually seen it. And I was like, well, neither have I. Stuck it on. I put my hands up and admit, started singing on the boat at the beginning of the film. I was like, hang on a minute, is this a musical? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh. Sadly, I'll be honest, it's just not my genre. The Greatest Showman's a bit of an anomaly. I thought that was great. And because I'd already seen that, I was like, you know what, I'll give it a chance. Are you showing Bale that he's actually English?
He is English.
Amazing. That's
top line.
That's a slight game changer for me.
Native Englishman.
That's great.
A native Englishman,
Sorry to
and the
cut you
leader
there,
of the
Steve.
current incarnation of The Boys.
So if you haven't seen The Boys, just check out Butcher as a character.
And
you give us your verdict. I thought you were South African.
Where is this man
I
from?
thought it was Australian.
G'day, cover.
But yeah, back to Sweeney Todd. I'm
Yes.
not a big musical guy, but I love the setting. I love the scene, and it really hooked me in. And the amount of star vehicles that drove that film, like I was sitting there, I was like, okay, I'll give it a chance. And when Sacha Baron Cohen pops out of that little cart and starts singing, I was just like, okay, I'm hooked in on this. I thought it was really, really, really strong film. I can see why it's got the reputation that it's got. Again, don't want to go into any sort of spoilers. I just thought it was really, really strong. Loved it. I gave it a 9. Only reason I didn't give it a 10 because it's not my genre, and I'd be curious to see what it was like as a narrative.
The -1 Kale point.
Yeah, and then the other one, which is the reason I've kind of skimmed through them, is because I've read a good for about 2 hours now. I've been reading into this film post watching it. I've been really pushing Jade. I was like, it's Halloween. I really want to watch a scary film. I love horrors. It's been a while because she has a very good mentality. For those who don't enjoy horrors out there, you might be able to relate. She just doesn't. Sometimes after a long day, she doesn't want to go down an emotional roller coaster of fear and anxiety, which I completely understand.
Yep.
And she's been really tired at the moment, so she was just like, I don't want to watch many horrors. But I asked to watch one. I believe it's on Netflix. It's called As Above, So Below. Any of you YouTube fans who know PewDiePie in the OG eras, he was actually sponsored by this film back in like 2014 when it came out. Very bizarre. He actually did his Scare PewDiePie series in the catacombs in Paris. So that's how it came into my, remit in my circle. I was like, okay, cool. I'm a huge fan of the Paranormal Activity franchise. I really like found footage films. I find them really interesting. And yeah, so I was like, cool, I really want to check out this film. And I watched it and I enjoyed it, but I was almost like I didn't know a lot of the meaning behind a lot of it. I felt as if I needed to know more. I'm not going to say what happens because for any horror fans, I really recommend you watch it. It's really, really interesting. I think it really dapples into a lot of balance between heaven and hell. But I did some reading into it. And are you guys familiar with Dante's Inferno?
Oh, I remember you saying
original the origin story.
Kind of, yeah.
So you originally said the video game, which I'm not familiar with, but apparently the old mythology of the story is this man who goes through the 9 circles of hell to, I believe, save his wife. But through those, he basically witnesses sinners in different situations, and he has to essentially repent his own to get back to earth in its most simplified format. I ended up reading about 3 or 4 different versions where the wife wasn't involved, but then she was, and it was less about him, and in one of them he didn't even repent anything, he just wandered through it. And this film is very, very inspired by that story, so to speak. And I'd love to watch it again now after reading up on it and seeing how that story and the 9 circles of hell link with As Above, So Below. It's really, really interesting. There's one bit of awful CGI for those who've seen it. The burning car scene, bit weird, but when you link it to Dante's Inferno and that kind of demonic mythology, it actually makes complete sense, and I actually really, really enjoyed it for what it was. Originally, I was going to give it a 7 because I thought it was a cool film, a lot of mystery involved, etc. in regards to figuring stuff out, a lot in the alchemy world of stuff I'm not really all that involved in. But after reading up on it, I'd love to watch it again. I think I could give it up. It's like an 8.5. Really, really thought it was a cool film. Apparently, it's been getting awful reviews because it's as complex as it is. But after reading through it, I was like, okay, there's the answer for that, which is obviously not good for a narrative film that needs backstory and needs context. But I've said it before, but in the podcast, I love paranormal and spiritual films that I can then read up on afterwards. I love reading into them. I find them really interesting. And this one was probably the best example of that. And yeah, if you're interested in that kind of thing, check it out. It's really, really cool. There's a few moments that are quite sensitive, I'll be honest. But the synopsis of the story is they are essentially going to what is a literal hell without knowing. There's one scene which is actually really, really, really weird because I didn't know how to feel about it. I felt really awkward because these guys in the film, I won't keep talking too much about it, they are very well known in their field of archaeology and alchemy, so they know what they're talking about. And there's one moment where there's this like written, there's these, I don't know what language it is, there's some words in a different language on this cave, and they have to crawl under it, and it says all the abandon all hope beyond this point, and that is what is apparently written on the gates of hell. And then she was like, well, we got to go down. There's reasons why she has to go down. They're not going to go into it. She crawls onto it, starts crawling through, and she looks back, and then she says it's quite ironic that apparently, I'm going to butcher this, but to get into hell, you have to crawl on the belly of the sinner crawls on the belly of itself or something like that. Basically, you crawl into hell. I did not know that was a thing. Yeah. And it really kind of puts you in a weird sense of what on earth is going to be at the other side of that. And it's really, really interesting. I thought it was really cool. I thought, it wasn't one of those found footage films that makes you feel sick either. But I actually did really well with that.
Cool. Nice. Sounds really interesting.
Yeah, if you like that kind of thing and you like reading into stuff, as I do, but I can very much understand why people didn't like it. I had to read into it. A lot of people weren't reading into it. My girlfriend afterwards, she went, didn't really get it, which I understand because I was a bit like, whoa, that's a bit odd. But yeah, that was more or less all I've been watching. Bale?
Well, obviously we all watched Zombieland too.
Yep.
I finally got around to watching Hobbs and Shaw. Obviously the Fast and Furious spin-off.
I don't like the direction they've got. They're competing with Michael Bay now.
Yeah. For me, Fast and Furious is Fast and Furious 1 and 2. When it was all about car racing, that's Fast and Furious to 100%. Me. Not the let's rob a bank. It's not Fast and Furious.
I really like 5 and 6 when Dwayne Johnson joined.
Dwayne Johnson makes everything better
because even in those films, there are very pivotal moments that rest around cars, the spec of cars, and all that, like the street racing vibe. It's not the same.
It's now vehicular warfare.
Now,
yes. Now it's reversing out of a plane and then landing with the suspension perfectly intact, which probably wouldn't happen.
This was just
CGI City. Hobbs and Shaw was bizarre. It was very much not about the cars at all. It was very much more about Hobbs and Shaw, obviously Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Statham versus the antagonist of the series, Idris Elba.
I thought he missed the mark a bit, but he didn't have much to go on his character, did he? It was a bit
basically like, you're bad, okay?
Yeah. Well, he normally plays bad, like he plays good characters that are bad. That's a role he's good at.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I felt it should not have been branded as Fast and Furious. It should have been its own thing, not linked with Fast and Furious at all, because there was no Vin Diesel or Tal in it.
I read something like they went through like 17 focus groups to get the title to what it was, because I think it's it's Fast and it's like Hobbs and Shaw. I can't remember. They're like Hobbs and Shaw,
Fast and Furious presents
a Fast and Furious
Shaw.
story, or a Fast and Furious : Hobbs and Shaw. Like they didn't know how to go about it. But
I think they should have just called it Hobbs and Shaw and just left it there. But I mean, I'd give it a 6 because it amused me more than anything else. I was just like, The Rock has some funny lines, but then The Rock always has funny lines.
You go to Jumanji for that.
I mean, Jumanji was better by an absolute country mile.
You know what it felt like? It felt like a Mission Impossible film by the end of it.
Oh, that's a good.
Didn't it? With all the stunts and
you're right. Yeah, it did a bit.
Mission rooms and all that sort of stuff. Unoriginal is where I'd put that.
Yeah,
I have no interest. I've not seen the last 2 Fast and Furious films because I know I'm not going to get. I will always leave thinking this isn't what I went in expecting. Like you've made a film about war essentially, but putting a Mustang and a Ford GT in it, you can call it Fast and Furious. Nah, not for me. Sorry. Much that it's the cliched Texas accent. Tokyo Drift was a perfect example.
Tokyo Drift is just so naffily stupid.
The narrative is about cars, and it's about reputation through cars.
I think it suffers from something I'd call Marvel syndrome, where every sequel they make, they have to up the risks.
Yeah.
And it started with Cars,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
then they had to make a baddie, and they had to make a baddie of the baddie, and it just
Then
the
they had to
chain
put a
keeps
baddie in
growing.
Japan.
And now next one will probably be in space.
Yeah.
Mm.
Cars in space.
But-
They bump into
You
what's his
wait.
face's Tesla.
But ultimately,
Yeah.
the way to take down DK was with a race in a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. No explosions. Well, kind of. But a car.
Mm.
That's what I enjoyed about it.
Yeah.
Like, it was founded around illegal street racing, to suspend your disbelief in that world. If I wanted vehicular warfare, I'd just jump on Battlefield or Call of Duty. I don't know.
True.
That's kind of.
I cannot wait for Fast. Is it 10 or 9? The next one, whatever it is. I think 10. Fast and Furious X is what it would be called if it's number 10, and
Probably.
it'll be X-Men in space.
Would
And
you?
Dwayne The Rock Johnson will be on the moon eating moon rock.
Would you? How about this proposition?
They
Go on.
make so much money.
Hypothetically speaking, because this is quite obviously not the nicest subject, because I just literally just hit me like a light. Ever since Paul Walker's passing,
R.I.P.
do you believe he would allow it to go in the direction it had gone?
Ooh.
Because think about it, since he passed away, and obviously they finished 5, I believe. It was 5.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
he was in 6, wasn't he?
The
Was it
CGI.
7?
They CGI'd him into 5, I believe. Either way, after
Was it
that,
5?
how
Oh my
how
days.
little were cars actually in it? Do you not?
I mean,
Is
the
that
amount.
not-
I mean, the
Uh,
cars were just
It's
there.
the
They
same
weren't
thing I
doing
say.
much.
It's that Marvel syndrome. When they see Marvel's pulling in $1 billion per film, they're taking the stakes and the formula, the baddies, and they're doing this. They're making 800 million, 900 million from these films.
The last one he was in was 7.
7?
Yep.
What? That's
Yep.
crazy.
That's the When Will I See You Again parting.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the last one I saw. I haven't seen any after that.
Etc.
But yeah,
Oh yeah, Fast and Furious 9 is the next one penciled for 2020.
Interesting franchise. They make a lot of money, but
Yep.
they've lost their core
yeah. I'm
values, haven't they? A
I'm
bit.
not an audience of it
Yeah.
anymore. Sadly, it's just it doesn't tickle me fancy.
I do like Dwayne Johnson though.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
who
yeah.
doesn't? But who
Dwayne.
doesn't?
Dwayne is best.
Jumanji comes out in December, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, we
Yeah,
should go and see
so
that. That'd
That's
be
why
great.
it came into my head. So I'm
Oh.
looking forward to that.
Love
That's
that.
I really want to watch the Ford Ferrari film because I love cars and that's all about cars and it's about Le Mans. It's
I've
about
heard
4GT40s.
negative things. About
I
that
don't
film,
care.
so-
I'm watching anyway,
Yeah.
and I'm bringing you with me. No,
Did you like Rush?
Yes. Well, it's F1.
Did
of
you like
course.
Rush?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I was just checking.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that film.
Senna, love that.
I'm about to say
Glorious
Senna.
documentary.
Senna was fantastic.
Yeah,
Although Rush wasn't obviously a documentary
No.
though.
I think they were two. Both of them were successful films in doing what they wanted to do. One was a Hollywood blockbuster reimagination or reconstruction, reimagination, and the other one was a found it's found footage documentary.
Mostly,
in
yeah.
theory, yeah. So I think both of them did their job very, very well.
It was more archive footage. They didn't
That's
have to like
archive,
go.
that's
They
the
didn't have
word
to
I was-
find it. Like,
Yeah, that's
where's
the
Ayrton
word.
Senna racing?
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Um,
What's the last thing that's on that list that we've all
Otherwise,
seen?
the thing we've all seen, I literally watched it last night, was the Apprentice episode from last week.
Nice.
Nice. I
Nice.
should have got involved in that.
Yeah, well, you missed out there.
I was like, what can I
Come
say
on,
here
Steve.
that's going to be
Extra
Apprentice? I was
sequel.
not
You're
happy.
fired. You should have dropped in or you're
Search for
fired.
the Apprentice.
Is on.
Continue. What?
I
No,
love
it's
it.
continues.
Oh yeah, Grob, it is
Oh,
continues. Oh,
jo-
fired from the pod. No, so I finally caught up. I'm
It's
obviously
been amazing this year.
I'm sad to admit my fantasy apprentice player. No, my apprentice sweepstake man is now out, and
Yeah.
that's disappointing me that I
likewise,
can't
yeah.
win 2 years
I've
in a
still
row.
got 2, but I don't have high
You
hopes.
still
for
got 2.
Yeah.
Who are
I
your
lost
two?
mine week 3.
Who are your 2?
them. I've got Dean.
Dean.
No,
And
not a winner there.
Don't say Ryan Mark because
No,
he's gone.
no,
He
no,
is gone
no.
next week.
Don't believe that in the
No,
slightest.
but he's
Oh.
going through. People
Well,
love
darling,
him.
The
Yes.
BBC love him. And do you know what the worst thing is
What?
you know when they advertise like what's coming up in this series, he's in it so much. And if you like, there's one where they're on a
Ryan
train,
Mark, hello.
and if you know this week isn't on a train, you know he's safe. I
That was,
know they have to
yeah,
advertise
yeah.
it, but it does spoil.
You know
what's
what I thought
coming
was
up.
quite interesting about you know at the end of the episode when obviously the people come back from the being fired from the boardroom. Obviously Ryan, is it Ryan Mark or Ryan Marr?
I'm not sure.
But Ryan Mark, I'm gonna go for it. He walked in, then Lottie, who I think is the most overrated human being alive.
I love her. She's amazing.
I mean, she is, but she's also like right up her own backside.
but
which
she
very
I think
much
she
annoys
has the
me.
right to be.
I mean, yeah, a little bit.
She gets
but-
plastered every episode. She's like,
I'd like to be a
guys,
project manager.
Yeah, I'd like to be really project manager because I've got experience in this. I've done it before.
I've rode a bike before. No, we'll pick the person who's never ridden a bike.
Yeah, or doesn't own one.
Yes.
Could you argue your personality can almost be too much that people don't want
Yes.
to work with you?
Correct.
Because I think she
I
kind of
think,
dug
I think
herself
that's what she's got.
with the.
I think they fear her and they want to
Yeah.
try and sink her.
Yeah.
buying,
But I liked it how she was the only one who was like, Ryan Mark, and then just ran and gave him a big hug. And I was just like,
yeah.
no one else cares that he's back.
I think I think she kind of went down in my estimations because I was on your page. I was literally on the same
Yeah.
page as you, no problem. I was like, she can justify her frustration and her anger, but ever since she stopped the geezer, I can't remember what his name is.
Oh,
Tommy.
Biff.
Biff or Tommy?
Biff.
Tommy.
We call him Biff.
I thought when
that's
when he was trying to buy the pole in Cambridge.
Oh, yeah.
Do
40 quid, 40 quid.
we'll toss a coin for it, and she just kept butting in, and I was like,
but no, 60.
I was
Oh,
like,
yeah, I agree,
hated
yeah.
that. I was like, just you use a position of power to then give someone a responsibility. Let them see that through. If you're going to then step in, no matter, even if you do well, you are putting yourself in the worst position possible. Even if you got it for 20 quid, you were then putting yourself forward as a very bad team player who doesn't trust
Yeah.
your team. And I hated that. I really, really went down in my estimations of.
What I thought was bizarre about this task, though, was the audacity of them to ask for a discount, like in a normal shop.
Oh, yeah.
Would any of us ever be like, oh, see, that's $4.99, I'll give you $2.50 for it?
No,
would
no.
anyone ever realistically do that?
No, but if that was the difference and it
True.
worked,
Yeah.
like
True.
you know, and then you'd get the praise.
Did you know what a lot of the items were?
I knew what most of them were, but like a quaffle, I was like, what on earth is that?
Quail.
A quail's a bird.
Is it? Is that?
Yeah.
A
quail
no,
is
a quaffle was the horse thing, wasn't it?
No, I thought quaffle was from Harry Potter, personally, when I heard the word.
That's Quidditch.
Exactly, yeah. No, it was a quaint or something.
Oh, that was
it,
quaint.
yeah.
It was Ryan Martin, he's a quaint.
That was the poll, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
But what
No,
I
I
thought
didn't know
was...
hardly any of them. I was really embarrassed.
I got mortarboard.
Yeah.
Oh, obviously. Yeah.
I've worn 2 of them. Wait. What I thought was really bizarre, though, was obviously when Lottie was arguing for what basically is a wrench.
This has
and
just
she-
turned
yeah.
into the Apprentice
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah,
now.
pretty much. And then she was like, how much does this cost? He was like, a tenner. She's like, I'll give you 12 for it. I'm like, no, give him a tenner. Just quit while you're
Yeah,
ahead. Just take the
that.
£10.
Tenner's a tenner.
Oh god.
Anyway, we're
Yeah.
enjoying it, as you can see.
Oh, it brings up so much conversation in the office.
It
as
is.
well.
It is good fun. Some
Um,
people aren't a fan, but I've been watching it probably for about 9 years. I
I
feel
think
like
it's one of those things as well. Even if you're out there and you're listening and you haven't watched it before, or you know what it's about, but you know you're like, I'm not going to get into it because it's 4 episodes in. You could watch tonight's episode, or yesterday's episode,
and it would be
Yeah.
you'd be absolutely fine.
And it doesn't make a difference because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's business people who
doing
have
business things.
Yes, they
Laugh
get
at
given a
attempting
task,
to do business things.
and you'll catch up in no time. So
It does make me wonder.
What?
It's a bit like when you watch people, isn't it? I mean, you say like on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or anything like that, where you're like, oh, that's I could do that. In that situation, you probably are under a heck of a lot of pressure.
I would be a lot worse than they are. I know
plus
that
you've
for a
got-
fact. I
Plus,
know
you've
that
got
for a
Claude
fact.
and Karen following you around, like glaring at your every
yeah.
move. Like, I just love like Claude's face when she she negotiated up, and you just see Claude sigh and shake his head.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Claude, bless you.
We're enjoying it.
Yeah.
good.
What have they got to do this week? I can't remember what the task was,
Don't remember.
No,
but whatever it is, I'm
Escapes
sure
me.
it's going to be something daft and hilarious. My favourite though is always the video one where they have to do like on the shopping channel.
oh, that's a good one.
Like
That's always a good episode.
Normally, the shopping one's my favorite. The one they just did.
Because for me, The Apprentice, I watched like the first 2 series when it first came out, loved it, and then for some reason waned off. And now I've come back with a vengeance because obviously the department loves it, mainly Ross. And he's like, everyone watch The Apprentice, get involved. And now I'm stuck now. I'm
I
hooked
enjoy
in.
it. I'm the same. I mean, I caught episodes here and there. I'd never actually committed to a full series until last year, and I got involved in the sweepstakes, and I was like, yeah, this is good. So I'm actually quite a newbie to The Apprentice.
Ooh.
I'll be honest, even though
I'm
I've
glad
always
you're enjoying it.
I've always known what it's about, but you know, because it's always been there, I've never really dived in. But I'm loving it. It's good.
Nice. Well, I think that pretty much sums up
Absolutely.
the Where's My KitBag podcast back from half term. Sorry, it's a little bit longer than usual, but we had lots of stuff to cover.
Yeah.
So there you go. Next week we're back with Obviously, us three again, maybe a guest. We'll try and find someone to come and join us. If you would like to come and join us, then just pop into the edit suite and say hello. I'd like to be on the pod, please.
We'll accept your pitch.
Yes, you
joking.
must pitch to us.
30 seconds, go.
Yes, you've got sell me this pen. Is what we'll do. But yeah, otherwise, thanks for listening from me, James.
Me, Will.
And I'm Steve.
And you've been listening to the Where's My Kit Bag podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Where's My Kit Bag podcast. Please feel free to drop us a comment about anything you want us to cover in the next video in the section below. Hit us up on Instagram or Twitter at F6 Media Film.